Hello, my YouTube world. This is Johnny Mo coming to you today. Want to talk to you about a question I got on a couple videos ago. Guy asked me, did I still think I made a good decision by going solo? He then proceeded to go on about how he's having some issues with his crews and keeping employees and feels like he's not getting anywhere. He's thinking about going solo. And what, in my opinion, I told him that I would make a video on this, and this is that video for the response. But I think the question that he's asking is much deeper than just whether it be solo or cruise. And I think if you have cruise or you're solo, I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this video right here because it's about perspective. What happened to me when I dropped from having cruise to me was something that was thrust upon me, but also some people would say, oh, Johnny, you gave up on your dream. What I did is I got off the hamster wheel. I call it the grinding wheel because that's all I was doing is I was grinding. I was running like a hamster, grinding, looking across there. That person over there, they're grinding, and I'm looking at that person over there, they're grinding. And everyone's grinding. We're grinding, but we're self-employed, so we're going to grind it. We're going to get to go somewhere. We're going to do what? Do what exactly? That's the question that I have not heard anyone definitely answer. Because there's some really hard facts and truths out there that need to be realized, and they're never promoted. That's why I do not read motivational books anymore. I don't read motivation. I used to read 30 a month, 20. God, you got to get Audible and get in it. No, because all it is you jump back on that hamster wheel and you grind. And here's a great example of that. Watch Keith Kalfas' videos. Go back, all of them. 3-4 years worth of videos. It's just a bunch of grinding until he's so overwhelmed. Then he has these spiritual awakenings for a weekend. And he's like, oh, I'm refreshed. And then he goes right back to grinding and he wears himself down. And then he goes back to grinding and he wears himself. And it's all there on videos. He goes through all kinds of employees, just like everyone else does. Another great channel to watch is Saving Green, Nick's channel. Love watching his channel because what he's going through right now is exactly what I went through. Employees, too much work, not enough time. You grind your life away. Listen, I was born in 1974. Someday I will die. The dash in the middle. I do not want it to be grinding. And I'm so glad what happened to me because I got off the hamster wheel and I said enough's enough. There's got to be a better way. I'm not reading another book about whatever. I was watching Keith Kalfas' video the other day about cash flow quadrant. And he brought into the video, he did a whiteboard teaching about some interesting facts that I've known about. And I want to bring perspective to people because there's people grinding here. There are people grinding your life away. You're losing family time. You're losing time. You're losing all this for what? So in the video, he's talking about the quadrant, employee, self-employed, and then you have the right side where they make the real money and they're philanthropists and they're this and they're that. And he's talking about like people like Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, probably Robert Kiyosaki. Just different people like that have businesses, the classic pyramid scheme. Make money while you're sheeping. Make money while you're sheeping. Here's the problem, guys. And it was brought out very articulate, very well done by Keith in the video. Employee, self-employed. 95% of people are in there. So let's say there's 100 people. 95 of them are going to be employee, self-employed, and you're never going to be happy. You're selling your time for money. Time for money. It's all about time, though. Time is the one thing that doesn't change. And on the other side, they're so good, they're so awesome that they make money while people sleep, and they control, they give money away, and this and that. And, that's where we want to be. The problem is, here's the problem with it. And it's a perspective that motivational people use on you. And you jump on that rat wheel and you're just chasing it. Here's the perspective. 95 people out of 100 will be on that side no matter what you do. Only 5 will cross over. But at least 5, let me change the perspective with you. Here's what I'm going to say. Come to my house tomorrow. I want 100 people to come over tomorrow. On the other side of the street, there's going to be $10 million. But here's the thing. 95 people out of the 100 that cross the street will be hit and killed by a car. But 5 will make it. They'll get that money. But 95 won't. Would you send your daughter? Would you send your kids? Would you send your son across the street with those odds? Johnny, that's terrible. Why would you say it? It's the same thing we do every day. What we do every day is we give our time for the hopes that we can be one of the 5 people. Here's even a better statistic. Only 3 out of 100 people will have a 2-comma business. But everyone's focused on being a 2-comma business. But only 3 are going to make it. Only 3. And then the 3 that make it look at the 97 and say, I made it and you got to do it just like I did it. Because I made it and you didn't. Because I'm on this side of the quadrant and you on that side of the quadrant. Ugh. But the 97 people, there's going to be a lot of those people are going to try to be those 3. They're going to grind their whole life away. They're going to grind their marriage away. They're going to grind their kids growing up away. They're going to grind until the day comes when they're sitting at the hospital and they've ground their whole life away. And they're going to be like, what did I just do? I wasn't one of the 3. I wasn't one of the 5. Listen, no matter what side of the quadrant you are, when this hourglass runs out, look at this. Time is flying by. When it runs out, it runs out. You can't control this. First of all, you don't know when it's going to run out. And you can't control when it runs out. But the one thing that you can control while you're alive is this. And I think if you'll listen to me, this will change your life. And this goes into the perspective of why I went solo, why I got off the rat wheel. Because I learned these 2 things. And I think if you'll learn it, you'll understand. And whether you have crews, a big business, a small business, if you'll get this part of it, I think that you'll live a lot happier life. Number 1, the one thing that remains the same no matter what quadrant you're in is time. Doesn't matter whether you're on the left side, right side. Time. We only have so much of it. Number 2 is how much are you willing to sell it for? So how much time are you willing to give away or sell, because you can do either or, and how much are you willing to sell it for? Once you get a hold of that, you decide now what your worth is. Obviously, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to give you my time unless I get what I'm worth. Because I put a worth on time now. But on that side of the quadrant, they said time for money. Screw it, because 95 people are already on that side of the quadrant. And once you understand, listen, I'm going to sell this much of my time, and I'm going to sell it for what I think it's worth and what I want to do in life, because it's what I want to do. It's not what some book said for me to do. The problem with most people that read and they become a part of someone else's dream because they really don't have their own dream. What is your dream? Because listen, if you don't have one, you'll be a part of someone else's. Whether it's a book, you'll be working for somebody. Some of you right now listening to me are working for minimum wage, $10 an hour, which it's not a wrong thing. It's just you're selling your time to someone for $10. You can sell it for whatever you want to sell it for, $100, $200, $60. What are you willing to sell your time for? And when you can answer those 2 questions and you put yourself in the proper perspective, the best advice I can give to you is don't go in debt. Listen, most companies that have a lot of employees, have a lot of trucks, a lot of equipment, they make this much and their bills are this much. And here's what happens. When time gets tough and they can't make this much and they make this much, they start going into crazy mode. And then you try to outwork your problems. Listen, your bills are here, your income's here, you're going to be fine no matter where you're at. Keep your bills low. You got a cell phone, water, gas, electric, house, car, repairs. Keep the stuff low no matter where you live. Listen, it cracks me up. People, I want to live in the development. I want a 5,000 square foot house. And then your kids move out. And then you get older, you can't take care of it anymore. You can't climb the steps. Then you got to sell it. Then you got to downsize. But I got to live in a 5,000 square foot house. How much time did you spend cleaning the house? How much time did you waste on the upgrades and all to keep up with the Joneses and stuff? Why aren't you just happy being who you are? I find it interesting that most people that are grinding, they don't even know why they're grinding. They're grinding because they read a motivational book and they're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be part of the 5 people that make it across the street. And then 60 years goes by and you don't make it across the street. What happens? Well, at least I went down swinging, Johnny. I didn't give up on my dream. Listen, guys, I was 40, probably about 40 years old when I made the decision. When I got off the rat wheel and I started to really look at my time. I don't want to grind my kids away. My kids are growing up. I want them to see me at their basketball games or softball games. I want to be there in their choir concerts. And most business owners, when it comes time to do things like that, they're so upset because they want to be over here grinding because they've sold way too much work. They don't have enough help to get that work done. And the pressures of that side has now overflowed in this side, and they can never be present to enjoy their kids. And if you think your kids don't know that you're not present, or if you think your kids don't notice that you're really not there when you're there, you're wrong. Or you've worked so much over here, you've ground your marriage to nothing. It's irreplaceable. Your wife's left you. But hey, I'm going to keep grinding because I'm going to be one of the 5 to get across the street. But the whole time you grind, you have no idea that your hourglass is running out. So, I'm not going to be one of those guys. I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to read a whole bunch of motivational books, a whole bunch of hoopla to get me to be the next Steve Jobs. Because I'm not the next Steve Jobs. I'm Johnny Moe. I'm Johnny. I live in a little 4-bedroom house, 1.5 bath. I drive Honda vehicles. I have a nice income, nice bank account. There's space between me and life. You know what I mean? I can go get some ice cream right now. I can, if my mower breaks down and it costs me $2,000, I can write the check. I don't have to worry about it. Don't grind your life away. Because I'm telling you, I'm spending time with a person in my family that's rounding the bend to the end. I'll just say it like that. And the last couple of weeks I've been spending time, there's no talk of, oh, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have worked here. I wish I would have did. There's talk about, I wish we would have spent more time as a family. I wish I would have did it this way. There's no talk about, oh, the job, the income, the house I live, this, that. What we put it as important when it comes to the end of your life. When Steve Jobs died, he came into the world, he came in naked. When he left, he basically left. He left everything that he did here. He's gone now. He can't take none of it with you. And you grind your life away. You're grinding. So whether you got cruise or you're solo or whatever you are, it's about what you want and the happiness that you have. For me, I'm not working like that anymore. I'm not working like an animal anymore. We're the only businesses. We're goofy. We don't want to work like that, but we'll have employees work to dark, and they've got kids, and they must not want money bad enough. That's our answer for it. Well, they don't want to have to do all their work one day a week. You know what I mean? We expect an employee to work from 7 o'clock in the morning till 9:30 at night and somehow get all their grass cut, somehow get all their clothes washed, somehow make all their kids' games, and then we get mad when their life interferes and we're going to fire them. That's why businesses fail. We're unrealistic now. All's our continuum is work. So to answer your question, what I learned when I went from cruise to solo was I value my time. How much time am I willing to sell, and for how much I'm willing to sell it for? Now that I have a better grip on that, life is much easier. Life is much easier when you can do that. I'm still going through that transition, and I'll be taking back a little bit more of my time. Even next year. This year I gained a lot of time. Next year I'm going to gain even more. Because you can't just grind your life away. It's going to run out, guys. And when it does, it's done. Hey, this is Johnny Mo. I hope you enjoyed this video. God bless you, and take back your time.